God knows before reaction. I'm off for life is out there. Hope you guys having a blessed day. Make sure you subscribe and that notification bell so you don't miss an upload. You got Pop the Balloon to Find Love Season 3 reunion. And one thing I love about this show is that it shows you in this modern day era, a lot of people are caught up on vanity. All they care about is what they see, nothing innately. It's all about carnal things. Oh, how this person look on the outside, BBLs, how you dress. Don't get me wrong, a lot of those things are imperative. I mean, you can have style, but that shouldn't be your main objective when it comes to dating. What about spirituality? What about a person's family values? What about their fruits and the things that they did in their past? People ain't looking at that. They just care about what they see right now. But let's get right into the video on these viral moments, right?
know why you'd ask that. You look great, but
Well, I'm asking because I mean, I don't mind because he was so wrong with the braids. I that
You want to take it off?
don't do that.
yeah.
Don't you?
I mean,
That
why
boy
can't
said, oh
I?
my God.
So
You still look good.
She looks good.
You still look good.
so should I keep it off or okay?
You said yes.
Right. So Johiko, as you
No offense, but I felt like a setup at the end of the day. It's like they already planned that because she had her hair done underneath, even though she appears to be even balder now. But whatever.
You've seen, you're everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, every single place you could think of, your video has popped up at least, I don't even know, each time I'm scrolling, I'm seeing it. So how has it been for you since that moment? Walk us through like what actually was going through your mind during this moment as well.
Well, I mean, originally he mentioned me having braids. He mentioned me having braids and lumps under my head. And of course, a few times I was just, I handled it humbly. I was like, braids? Okay, all right. Knowing I have no hair under my wig. But then I knew that there was the possibility of millions of people talking about what he said I could have had under my head. So, and I knew that I did not. So I just figured I was going to just show everybody what was really under there. I had no problem doing so. And it's the outpouring amount of love that I've received, coming on this show, it's always the possibility of, receiving some criticism and positive and negative, but for the most part, it was all positive for me. And I really appreciate everyone, all the support. So yeah, it was.
So basically, she let peer pressure, she let the thought of other people basically convince her to show her real self, and she's supposed to be praised for showing her natural look. I mean, that's how you look. You had on something that wasn't yours. It is a unit. It is a lace front or a wig, whatever the case may be. So it's funny that if a man had on a man unit and he was to take it off, he wouldn't be considered brave. They'd think he was a joke. They'll laugh. They'll call him fake, phony, but he's insecure. But it's funny that if a woman just wants to be praised for having her natural look, she's all of a sudden brave. To me, it's like the weirdest contradiction in his life. It's strange. It's like you should actually love yourself instead of covering up your natural look all the time. But since so many women do it, because I believe that it comes from a place of insecurity. It comes from a place of feeling like your natural hair, your natural look is not as appealing. So when they do take the wig off, somebody is like, oh my gosh, she's so brave to look like what she really looks like. That's one thing I kind of find to be a little twisted. And I'm a big believer in the Bible. I'm a Bible dispensationalist. The Bible actually says, love thyself. You should never need any external means to make you feel complete other than what God gave you.
It was a lot.
Okay, and now Danny, we saw you kind of in the corner of that clip when she took the wig off. You disappeared. Where'd you go?
It was just a shock.
Okay.
That's all it was. It was, it was more power to her. But I was in shock. It was funny, to me. I'm goofy.
Yeah, it was definitely unexpected. I was there like, you gonna take it off? Like, I was like, hold on now, what's going on
I said,
here?
don't do it.
I wasn't gonna let him take me out like that. So at the end of the day, I know that my hair is very well maintained. I knew that he was very incorrect. At the end of the day, I still have a good relationship with Hugh. I keep in touch with everybody from my episode. I always check up on everyone. I wasn't offended because I knew that I didn't have what he said I had. So I know the world hates him, but yeah.
Right.
That means you were offended because you felt like you had to prove a point. When you don't care about what people think, it doesn't move you. See, that's why a lot of people contradict themselves continuously. You got to understand when you're not moved by what someone says, it's never going to make you do something. You're just going to stand your ground. You're going to be 10 toes. So you're not going to alter what you did or whatever you have on to, appease somebody. It doesn't work like that.
In the best way. You look fantastic without it. In
You
the
look
best
gorgeous.
way. Like you
Yeah,
could see more of your
gorgeous.
face.
You look beautiful.
You were glowing when you took that off. You were like, I'm
Right,
everyone.
right.
You should have just kept it
Wait, Cliff, what'd you say?
on. I feel like she should have just kept the wig off.
Oh, like she should have came out already, wig off.
Wig off.
To be
Like, I feel
honest,
like,
when I was backstage with the girls, the curls wasn't curling. It was just a lot going on with the wig. It was lifting. And I had mentioned like wanting to take it off backstage. But the girls were trying to just like, girl, you look good. Just leave it alone. So that was another reason why I was just like, you know what? I did want to take it off. But everybody backstage was just like, girl, you look good. Leave it alone. I was going to braid it, put it to the side. They were like, leave the curls. Just leave it. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just leave it.
Right.
But when that happened, I was like, good. Because I didn't want it on in the first place. So once
You're
he
like, I
said
was looking
that,
for a reason to yank this off anyway.
right. Once he said that, I was like, period. That's it. I'm taking it off.
Definitely a sign from God, because you should have walked in with that wig off anyways, because she looked good with it off.
Honestly, yeah. Okay, so let's.
A sign from God, right? See, this is why I always say people just have their own private interpretation of the Bible, right? A woman's hair is her covering. That's what the Most High said. Your hair is your covering. So when a woman shaves her head, she's basically going against what God deemed to be a covering for her, to be her humbleness, to be something that shows her virtuous, nature, her submissive nature. And that actually goes against God. So I don't like when people, say something is about God when it's clearly not. That's not. I'm not going to stand on that. People just want you to believe. Nah, but if a woman have long hair, this is First Corinthians 11:15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given for her for a covering. Remember that.
Let's go ahead and move on to another young lady who was talked about quite a bit from her episode. Let's take a look.
I'm not loud and rowdy, but I just feel like I might be a lot. I know I feel chill right now.
All right, name and age and why you ended up popping your balloon.
My name is Angelique. I'm 32. It was the lashes comment. Women are gonna women. We're gonna do what we're gonna do. And I think for a man to make a comment about the things that we do, makeup, hair, lashes, like I get that it's not your preference, but let women be women.
Right.
Or don't date us. It was the age.
Let women be women or don't date us. He can have a preference. Just because he doesn't agree with something you do, you want to insult him. See, that right there to me is a big red flag. A lot of people love natural looks because it shows that the woman actually has confidence in herself and that she's secure within her own feelings, her own look, and the way that she goes about life may be more realistic and pragmatic. A lot of people live in a delusion because they're unable to accept reality. And some people will try to hide their imperfections of what they believe to be imperfect, which is a cover up. So then, how can you truly know a person if they're willing to hide behind something? That's how a lot of people take it.
I'm 32. You're 28. Is that what I remember?
Correct.
Yeah. And when you first said it, I thought about popping, but I was like, no, girl, don't block blessings. Just keep on listening. But it just kept popping up in my head, and I have to listen to my gut. Okay, she's never gonna lead me astray.
That's a
So
fact.
it is the age. I hate it. I know. I'm sorry.
But she's able to have a preference and say your age. She can call it out. But nobody turned around and insulted her. You never heard no man insult her. But the moment one man says he just doesn't like something, he gets insulted and questioned his sexuality. Very disappointing.
I mean,
So,
damn.
so Angelique, yeah, the comments ate you up, and my
They
facial
tried it.
expressions.
Goodness gracious.
So it was like a trend,
Yeah.
and everybody started catching on. Like, this girl keeps hanging onto her balloon until the last minute when it's you and down to like one other person. And there were comments like, "Oh, I feel like she's blocking other people's blessings." Somebody else could have been had their balloon still at the end. How do you feel about that?
I feel like watching it, I totally understand why people feel that way.
Okay.
Unfortunately, that's not what I was doing. So everyone was incorrect. It's all about perspective. I'm gonna be sit here and be real with y'all. And for everyone that's standing in the line, you sometimes can forget you're even standing there. And it's very possible to forget that you're even standing there. And that happened a couple of times for me.
Do you see everybody faces when she said that? They're perplexed. They're confused. They don't know what she's talking about at this point. I mean, I feel like this woman just throws things out of her mouth and she don't even think. I mean, she doesn't think before she speaks. It sounds just it's like she's pontificating at this point.
Me. Like I zoned out. I was overthinking some of the things. Like it just happened. So me waiting until the last minute, it wasn't intentional. It was I'm kind of thinking about what's going on here, what I should do, and then the other part is, dang, I'm standing here. What is happening up here? These people are looking at me. Like that was it for me. Like it was never, ooh, I'm gonna wait and be the last one. It was never that. I never thought of that. So when
Okay.
that came out, I was like, huh? What are we talking about, y'all?
So, like, for example, because one of the first few things that people say when they come out is their age. But you did
Right.
it twice with the age. You
Right.
held on till the last minute, but that's one of the first things they say. So if that is something that's like a deal breaker for you in a way, like how come you didn't pop right away for those?
It's a deal breaker in a way.
Okay.
It's not like the end all be all. It's possible, but it's like, well, let me think about this. What do I feel? Because that's important to me. The energy, the feeling, like that's important to me.
Okay.
So that's what I was thinking the whole time. It was never, okay, they came out, they're 27, pop, pop, pop. It was never that.
But a woman that has pounds and pounds of makeup on like she does, there's a lot of insecurity there. And where there's a lot of insecurity, there's a lot of feistiness. You ever notice that when women are insecure, they come out very feisty if you question or if you have a preference of something that they do. When you're secure in your own self, you don't mind somebody saying something because you take critique. Constructive criticism is a good thing for a person who's wise. The Bible said that a fool despises knowledge and correction. But if you give a wise man criticism, if you reprove a wise man, he will love you. But somebody like this is not. They're gonna say you're hating. They're gonna try to question your sexuality. They try to attack you, shame, insult, guilt. And to be honest with you, she comes off very, very like that new age feminist mindset, opposed to any type of criticism. And that's why these people remain single and unable to pair bond because you're stuck in your ways. You don't want to see why you've been unsuccessful this whole time.
For me.
Okay.
Because certain things you can or can't change, like your height, your age, where you are, and like certain things just can either be fixed and they just kind of don't matter, and some things do, and it's just everything collectively. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? Unfortunately,
Okay. And then another thing that was coming up when you popped on Jay, you said Something about, women are gonna women. If you don't like it, don't date us. What did you mean by that? Can you elaborate?
I sure can.
Okay.
I mean, allow people to be whoever they're going to be. And that's men and women. Because a lot of people came out and was like,
If it's men and women, allow him to have an opinion, allow him to have a perspective, allow him to literally have a preference. You said everybody's going to have their own opinion. Then allow a person to without insulting them. But just because he had a preference and then you didn't like it because you didn't fit into his criteria, you got aggravated, you got emotional, and you decided to come at him in a negative way. Everyone has a right to freedom of speech and the ability to state what they want. And people shouldn't come at them any kind of way, especially if they're not being disrespectful. Dang, how forceful are right words, the Bible says. Let him be able to express what he wants and what he needs.
well, y'all pop because men are short. No, Bookies. Like, I never said that because you can't change your height, right? But I can change my lash. I can change if I want to wear makeup or not. But my thing is, that's my thing. Let me just be me. I want to come out and wear my lash. Let me do that, and you love me regardless.
Okay.
Or today,
Well, whoever wants to be with you, but don't get mad at somebody that doesn't. Remember how you live
or
your
not.
life.
But my thing is
Hold
that
on. They saw that came on like that. They didn't want me to say that. How she lives her life. Let her move like that. But allow somebody else to move the way they want to move without you insulting them. That's all I'm saying.
no, Bookies. Like, I never said that because
It
you can't
double back
change
for
your
some reason.
height, right? But I can change my lash. I can change if I want to wear makeup or not. But my thing is, that's my thing. Let me just be me. I want to come out and wear my lash. Let me do that, and you love me regardless.
Okay.
Or today, I don't want to do that, and I want to have a plain face and just wear my sunscreen. Let me do that, and you love me regardless. Realize that it has nothing to do with my heart. Realize
Then realize that he has a preference and it has nothing to do with you calling out his sexuality and misrepresenting him. He can actually come at you for defamation because the way that you went ahead and proceeded with that. Love him regardless. Respect people regardless if they think contrary to what you believe in. Everyone has the right to do so.
that it has everything to do with just who I want to be in this moment. But since we are talking about the lashes and that whole thing,
And she is very selfish. She comes off very narcissistic. She comes off as if she doesn't consider anyone else's feelings. I can see why this woman is single. And a lot of women like her are stuck in their ways, especially due to the fact that she is just unable to agree to disagree and say, I do understand your perspective. And that I know there's some women out there that may be more natural for you, and I'm probably just not that individual. And you could have moved on. But instead of being cordial, she decided to just gaslight, be defensive. And that's that modern way of thinking. A lot of people don't realize that they think very modern.
I do want to make sure I give you an apology for that because, like I said, I overthink quite a bit. And what I was thinking in my head is not the same as what actually came out my mouth. And so when I watched the show back and I realized that people are thinking that I'm trying to say you should go date men, that was not my intention.
That was exactly her intention. And I know a lot of them on the show, they don't want to come off a certain way. Who knows? They probably signed something in a way so they don't have to come off very disrespectful. And he's gonna be very modest with his response. But I'm just gonna be 100. He probably don't like women that has on tons of makeup, eyelashes, because there's certain characteristics that come with that. A lot of women that wear makeup tend to be more self-centered, tend to seek attention and validation from others. In the Bible, makeup came from the heathen nations. That's why with Jezebel, she used to wear makeup to try to, exert her sexuality on others so she can just persuade them to do things and do her bidding. So you have to be careful when you're dealing with people who say these things. And don't get me wrong, a lot of people gonna get caught up in the mess because it's a saturation of makeup being appealed to little girls and things of that nature, so they're growing up thinking nothing's wrong with it. But that's why the world is given over to the hand of the wicked at the end of the day.
At all. My thing is, this lineup has been extremely consistent. There was one young lady on my episode, or our episode, who did not have on makeup, but other than that, this lineup has been extremely consistent.
She's trying to use other people as a catalyst to push her agenda because she thinking that, majority of us had on makeup. So at the end of the day, we all on the same accord. You see, it's the hive mind way of thinking. It's just like the girl with the wig with the peer pressure. Oh, she felt like, people later on gonna probably say, man, you know what? She probably did have lumps under her head. Let me prove it to the world. And all of a sudden she's praised for it. But if a man had a male unit on, he'd be considered a loser.
So it's like, if these aren't the type of women that you like to date, don't. Because there are 1,000 different.
He didn't even know he's stepping out on the show because he didn't see the women yet. You literally come out, you see all the women holding the balloons, and you're stuck with those options. Is pop the balloon or find love? What world is she living in? It's like a contradiction. Every time this woman speaks, it just sounds like she's pontificating. Man, I tell you.
Different women out here. And that's really what I was trying to say. But I understand that it didn't come out that way.
It don't
And
make
you
sense.
probably felt as if I was trying to attack you
It
Yeah.
don't
and your
make sense.
sexuality. And that was never the case.
And Jay, you actually
whatsoever.
did. You made a post about it on Instagram. You said you felt like it was an attack on your manhood, right? You said something along those lines. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been consistently attacked for my manhood on this show.
Now look how crazy that is. He been attacked consistently off of one thing this woman said. And just because he had a preference. Boy, we live in a crazy day and age where freedom of speech has been taken from us.
You know, but I think you pop prematurely on me because there's levels to it, right? Like her lashes was like those little caterpillars that was black that we ain't seen since we was like 15. But yours, like, I could see through it. You couldn't see through hers. I could see through yours. And I actually complimented your lashes, right? So I like the individuals. I like the hybrids. I like those lashes. I don't like the little strips. But also when makeup is supposed to be natural, but it doesn't look natural, that's something that I don't like. So if the makeup is supposed to look natural, right, like lashes, they're supposed to look natural. But if it's supposed to look unnatural, like I complimented you on your eyeshadow, right?
And I said, thank you.
A lot of women don't want a natural look. They want an unnatural because they want to enhance something that they don't have. Remember, if you dress a certain way, right, a woman gonna consider you a player. If you wear your hair a certain way, if you carry yourself a certain way. And they'll say, well, you look like a player. You look like you just had one woman. I ain't gonna talk to you. Because it's the appearance of what you're giving off. But 9 times out of 10, usually individuals that wear their pants sagging, individuals that, consistently wearing hoodies, people driving bikes in the hood, but he ain't got no car, you tend to call him a deadbeat, right? Tend to call him a degenerate. And 9 times out of 10, you might be right because you're talking about the majority. Now, there are people that probably wear their pants low and this and the third, and they could be successful, but we're not talking about an isolated situation. We're talking about the majority. There's a large number of women that wear heavy pounds of makeup that tend to want to seek validation from others, that tend to be a little bit more promiscuous, that tend to not be able to be submissive because it's that new feminist movement. And a lot of women are unable to, pair bond and change their ways for their partner. So you got a lot of baby daddy situations, a lot of situationships instead of relationships.
I don't think niggas is running around with fuchsia eyelids and that's matching they fuchsia lips. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it was looking good. I liked it.
You saw the way the other dude's looking like this is just pathetic. It makes no sense. Stop trying to appeal to someone. You don't have to. If you have a preference, don't feel like the world owes you anything or you owe them anything. Sometimes I think people just kind of get caught up in that, thinking that they need to care about what somebody thinks.
So I can appreciate the creative, inspiration behind that. But we all have seen those posts where it'll be a man with a full beard and he do his makeup and he look
See,
like
now
we
you're just
can't
getting
even.
into stuff I don't even want to get into. Let's go to 2815. Let's see. I think there was one year.
I know that I might be your type, probably. And I know that because of the way that you were looking at me.
Right.
Like, you could eat me up on this floor. And,
Right.
I think when I'm initially meeting someone,
See what I'm talking about? This woman is very presumptuous. You know, having that conceited mentality is very unattractive. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people out there feel like, dang, you know what, you shouldn't be uh, you know, hiding how you feel about a woman. You want to express that you like her, whatever the case may be. So, and she doesn't really see it as something that's generous. She sees it as a way to downgrade you, to make you feel less than, because you're just looking at her, uh, you know, in a way that you're attracted to her, right? But that's why the Bible says you shouldn't stumble at the woman's beauty, and also you shouldn't look at women with lustful intent because you already, committed adultery in your mind with her. And people can see that, and they will use that against you.
especially when there's 1,000 different beautiful women standing here,
Right.
it's uncomfortable to
Right.
constantly be looked at like they
Right.
want to eat you up
Right.
in that moment. Like, granted, love it. Yes. Let my man
Right.
look at me like that. But
Look how ridiculous she sounds. Plus, she's wearing a mini skirt. You're dressing in a way that is like a harlot, but you're mad that somebody's looking at you with lustful intent. But then you said you love it. Because you know why? If she was attracted to you, it wouldn't be a problem. Since she's not attracted to you, it's disgusting. It's like when a woman calls a man a creep that approaches her that she's not attracted to, right? But if that same individual came up but was attractive, he would have no problem with it. She'd take it as a compliment, a great gesture, right?
right here, right now, it is so uncomfortable.
Right.
I
Right.
can't stand it. And I think I get that. I get that all the time at work, and I just be like, all right, bro. Like, I'm
Wait,
just trying to
look, you saw how she looked. The whole she said, "What the is this woman talking about, bro?" They don't even know.
be here.
So you don't think that it's like
I think
You came on the show to be observed by men. That's why you was lined up. Being lined up, number one, should let you know, oh, people gonna look at the physical nature of me first. But then you say you feel uncomfortable. Why come on the show? It's like this woman is a contradiction.
male like that's really feeling you? You don't think that's
no, I
like
feel that. That's why I said I know for a fact that I'm your type. It's just it makes me so uncomfortable right now.
right?
And that's why I was kind of like waiting. I'm like, damn, maybe I could chill.
Right,
Is he
right,
your
right.
type?
My friends are gonna say I don't really have a type. So, eh.
You don't have a type, but you said nah. Boy, I tell you, just to build herself up. You saw the way she was boosting herself up. Oh, you looking at me with lustful intent and all this crap. Just to turn around and be like, I'm not attracted to you. I don't like you.
Let's start with Tamarcus. What was going through your mind during that? Were you as confused as I was?
I was super confused.
Okay.
Because like I don't know, I always thought that like,
Confused as I was.
well, first off, when I first went onto the show, right?
Yeah.
I come out, I look from the right to the left. There was only 2 women that I was attracted to physically. So as I went down the line, I didn't want to pay no mind to the other. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care who was in the line besides the 2.
Okay.
And so when I got to her, it was kind of like one of those like, okay, so you don't think that or you don't want the man to show that he's feeling you or that we're on a dating show. Like
Yeah.
I just I didn't get it.
Okay. Angelique?
I mean, okay. I knew I was gonna get toe up for that, okay? And as you can see, I was fighting for the words to say. But in real life, y'all don't see him looking at me the way that I see him looking at me. And I was genuinely uncomfortable. So I'm gonna stand on that. I was genuinely uncomfortable. If I would have saw him on the street and he did the same thing, I would have been like, all right, y'all good? Y'all straight? We good? Because
You see the way them girls looking, they saying, "What is wrong with this chick?" Like, I don't understand how she can be, you know, articulating herself in this manner. It just still comes off confusing.
The
I
street
was
and a dating show
uncomfortable.
is two different
Right, yeah,
scenarios.
it's
Sure,
very different.
I agree.
You on a dating show and you're trying to compare an analogy that doesn't work. That analogy being on the streets with a random individual approaching you, being on a dating show where you're put on display in a lineup just to say you feel uncomfortable, somebody's looking at you in a manner in which they find you attractive, that they're interested, right? That makes you uncomfortable. Wow. You can tell some people just are out of their mind.
However, that don't mean I still wasn't uncomfortable. I was still uncomfortable.
Were you
was
not
he
attracted to
looking?
him? Is that it? Like, were you not attracted?
That's what I was getting at, like,
and the reason
just-
I'm asking is because, like, a lot of times with women, it's like the things that are creepy versus not has only to do with
Because they're
attraction.
not exactly.
Like, if a guy, how
Just
is that
say
if
that.
he's attractive?
Look
It's
at,
like,
look at all the women saying, yeah, because they know. That's usually what it is. It's just because if you're not attracted to someone, that's the case.
oh,
Right.
well, he's forward. You know,
Exactly.
he wants,
'Cause
but
if
if
he
he's
was
ugly, it's
fine,
like, oh, he's creepy.
You would have been
If
looking
she
back.
was-
He's
And
a
Right.
predator.
Angelique,
Like,
that's why I had asked you, is he your type? But you really didn't answer it.
I'm gonna have to do a part 2 to this video, but let me know what you guys think about in the comments. And I'm up. At it.